Hey everyone, Key with keysblog.com. I have some aliases and you'll see them flashing at the bottom of the screen, so don't you miss them. Let's get to the subject of appearance, since that seems to be a really reliable response to our ideas. Stephen Piercy opened his attacks on me by publishing a picture of someone I don't even know. I'd love to know who she is. And he claimed it was me. Speaking of Stephen Piercy, there's a great looking couple, Stephen and his lovely wife Virginia. They don't seem to, he named that picture ugly. That was what he had named that picture on his computer. When Mary Mapes' phony documents were pointed out, Mary Mapes came back and called Rush Limbaugh fat. Brian at the Radio Equalizer had a post up about Mary Mapes' attacks on Limbaugh for being fat. Mapes ridiculed some critics of her reporting and authenticating, which is kind of funny. Of Rush Limbaugh, she said, "I don't need to be lectured on ethics from a much-married, obese drug addict." Okie dokie. Brian points out, that's right, Rush Limbaugh is the problem, not Mary Mapes and her phony documents. When all else fails, why not resort to calling Rush fat? With the left, it works every time. No need to argue points. My opponent is fat, or my opponent is ugly. How about this? I'm going to say, my opponent has a mustache. That's Lynn Stewart, who defended the blind cleric, the guy who is guilty of the World Trade Center bombing. My detractors, including the stupor patriots, not only call me a whore, a liar, a crook, and a fraud, a convicted liar, none of which they can substantiate, and they say my videos are photoshopped, which is really interesting. I've never heard of photoshopping a video. Are you guys technically illiterate also? You Columbia University people? Michelle Malkin recently posted about garbage control and about how they're fixated on the word whore. Made me feel a lot better. Her post is called Comments, Trolls, and the Left's Continued Whore Fixation. What was interesting about that particular roundup of troll droppings was the reference to Duncan Black, aka Atrios, who encourages his bottom-feeding commenters to leave nasty, vicious, horrid, filthy comments. Presumably he feels that enhances his blog. In his biography, it shows that he's an elitist. He's held teaching and research positions at the London School of Economics, the University of California, Irvine, and recently Bryn Mawr College. Black holds a PhD in economics from Brown University and is a senior fellow at Media Matters for America. I'd like to believe that most fair-minded bloggers on both sides of the aisle, particularly ones with such prestigious academic pedigrees as Dr. Black's, would balk at encouraging such obscene vitriol on their sites. Another example of elitists and their poor manners. What are they learning? They're not getting an education, it seems to me. Michelle Malkin prefers to keep her comments moderated, as do I, to weed out the filth. And I also wanted to mention that, in my opinion, it's no longer a feather in your cap to be a product of an Ivy League school, since what seems to be emerging is terrorist sympathizers and the antithesis of everything we stand for. I think the founding fathers would be rolling over in their graves, spinning actually. And also, they don't have a whole lot of feminine girls who enjoy being women. And we do have a lot of babylicious conservative women on our side of the aisle. And I'd like to finish this out with the results of a photo shoot that I had recently. I'm preparing to launch lynthomas.us. Have a great week.